Today we're going to dive into one of the most brilliant and, let's be honest, intense legal puzzles of all time. It's a story all about wisdom, a test of truth where there are zero witnesses, no evidence, and a tiny life is hanging in the balance.
So I want you to put yourself in the judge's seat for a second. Before you are two women, both hysterical, and both are claiming that they are the mother of the very same baby. One is telling the truth, the other is telling a devastating lie. How in the world do you figure out who's who?
An impossible choice, right? Well, this was the exact scene playing out in King Solomon's court. He was staring down a classic she said scenario, but with the absolute highest stakes imaginable.
And you can just hear them, can't you? Their stories are polar opposites. The first woman says, "My son is the one who's alive, yours is dead." And the second woman just fires right back, "No, it's the other way around." They're at a total impasse, giving the king absolutely nothing to work with.
And if you think that's tricky, the backstory makes it even harder. The first woman lays it all out. They live in the same house, they had their babies just 3 days apart, and, this is the crucial part, no one else was there, no witnesses. Then, one morning, one of the babies is tragically found dead. So you see the problem. It's just their word against each other's.
So after listening to all this, Solomon gives an order that is just shocking. He says, "Bring me a sword." The whole court must have gone silent, and then he says it. "Cut the living child in two and give half to one and half to the other." I mean, it sounds completely barbaric, totally insane.
So you have to ask, how could a king who's known for his judgment come up with such a horrifying solution? Well, to really get this ruling, you have to get the ruler. We've actually got to go back in time a little bit to find the source of his famous wisdom.
See, Solomon was a new king. He had just taken over the throne from his very famous father, King David. And you can imagine, he felt the pressure, the weight of it all, and he knew he was pretty inexperienced. This incredible wisdom he's about to show, well, it wasn't something he was born with. It was something he asked for.
So here's how it happened. As the new king, he's feeling totally overwhelmed. He goes to a holy place called Gibeon to worship, and right there, in a dream, God makes him the ultimate offer. Basically says, "You get one wish. Ask for whatever you want me to give you. Anything."
So what does he ask for? With this cosmic blank check, he doesn't ask for power or fame. He actually admits how out of his depth he feels. He says, "I am only a little child." All he asks for is a discerning heart, so he can govern his people well and know the difference between right and wrong. It's just this incredible moment of humility.
And just think about all the things he didn't ask for, right? Most new leaders would want a long life or tons of cash or for their enemies to be defeated. Solomon turned all that down. He chose wisdom. He chose justice. And that choice really impressed God.
And because his request was so selfless, God didn't just give him what he asked for. He said, "I'll give you the wise and discerning heart, and I'll also give you all the things you didn't ask for." So Solomon got incredible wealth and honor too. He returns to Jerusalem with this amazing divine gift.
Which brings us right back to that super tense courtroom. Solomon, now armed with this brand new wisdom, has just given that terrifying order. The sword is in the room, and everyone is staring, holding their breath, because a baby's life is on the line.
And in that moment, the king's threat gets a real gut-level reaction. The true mother, just filled with love and horror, she cries out. She'd rather give up her baby to the other woman than see him get hurt for even a second. Her compassion just takes over. But the other woman, her response is absolutely chilling. She says, "Fine, cut him in two. If I can't have him, then neither can you."
And there it is. That's the whole key. Solomon never, ever intended to harm that child. The sword was just a prop. The whole thing was a brilliant psychological test, designed to cut through all the lies and expose the raw, unfiltered truth of a mother's heart. It was a test of love.
Now, with the truth finally laid bare for everyone in the court to see, Solomon is ready to deliver his verdict.
And without missing a beat, Solomon gives his final ruling. He points to the woman who begged for the baby's life and says, "Give the living baby to her. Don't kill him. She is his mother." Justice is served, not because of evidence, but because of a deep understanding of people.
And you can bet that this story spread like wildfire. All of Israel heard about it, and they were just in awe of their new king. They didn't just see it as a clever trick. They saw that their king had a truly divine wisdom to bring about real justice. And of course, this story is where we get the term we still use today, Solomonic wisdom. And it doesn't just mean being smart. It's about empathy. It's about understanding the human heart and using that incredible insight to solve these really complex, messy human problems. And that really leaves us with a big question for today, doesn't it? Our world is so driven by data, by analytics, by spreadsheets. Solomon's method feels almost ancient, almost alien. But it makes you wonder, what problems in our jobs, in our communities, even in our own families, could we solve if we focused less on the cold, hard facts and more on a deep, compassionate understanding of the people involved?